Welcome back to the Tribal Lines podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Lupo, here with today's guest host, the great Alex Rubino. How's it going, dude? Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. It's been too long, but I am very glad to be back. And I just want to start out with something a little interesting. And I'm just gonna say, Stephen, if you don't wish your amazing co-host Pat Johnson a happy birthday, I might just have to walk off this podcast right now.
That's right, that's right. We are not currently filming on his birthday, but this will be have been posted on his birthday. It is October 19th. Happy birthday, Pat Johnson, the co-host of the Travel Lines podcast. We love you. We miss you. We hope you're having a great day. And we hope to have you on for a recap episode very soon. I think there's a chance that we might be able to get him for episode 6, maybe
We
episode 7 coming up. So that sounds fantastic. And looking forward to recapping with him soon. But happy birthday,
Pat
Pat.
Pat, grace us with your presence, and I hope your Eagles get crushed tomorrow by my Giants. Yeah, great guy. Your sports teams suck, but miss you, man. All right.
Yeah.
Steven, this episode.
This episode was amazing. Amazing. The tribal was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved this blind side. I loved the raw emotion from Annika. Um, it was just an overall great episode. This season just keeps getting better and better and better every episode. It's like amazing. And I think we've only had one vote out, and that was episode 1 that kind of had like a nice edit, a nice exit by the person voted out. Every other person was blindsided in one way or another, um, which just makes for great TV, makes for great Survivor, makes for great watching as a
Yeah.
fan. I love it.
I'm gonna say something that I never thought I would say. Survivor got a twist right, and they did with the shot in the dark, producing all of these blindsides
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
you have no
yeah.
other
All these
choice.
so great by the production crew, being able to set up these blind sides, especially setting up this blind side,
Oh
because I'll tell you
man,
right now, during Tribal Council, I was like 90% sure that Andy was going home, and I was
really?
pissed. I was so upset that, oh my God, are we about to lose Andy? Because I felt like the Andy got way more confessionals than Annika did. They were making Andy seem like this mastermind in a way, of the episode, and kept saying that he hopes to be a part of the we that they were talking about in Tribal Council, and hopes to be a part of a group finally. And it kept showing Sam's face of uh Sam being
Being
like upset with himself, or like kind of wishing, like regretting that, oh, like I can't believe I'm having to send Andy home. I feel so bad. That's what it would kept looking like from the constant shows of his face from the camera on TV at Tribal. But something that my girlfriend Lexi had pointed out to me was that she feels like the producers were just trying to make good TV, and that she thought it was going to be Annika because of that reason, that they kept showing Sam's face like that, and giving Andy a lot more confessionals. And overall, she was right. And when I saw the second Annika vote, I started getting so hype. I was so excited
oh
because if
man.
you've been watching this podcast, you know I love Andy and I do not like Annika. And I was so happy that Annika went home and that Andy lives to fight another day. And now we're going into Mergatory with Andy here. And I'm not only excited to see him play because I know he's a great player. The problem with the whole that he was on the bottom and everyone thought of him maybe not as a great player was that day 3 blow up at the immunity challenge, which was really bad, I gotta say. But I think that was just him not being used to the elements, not being used to the stress of being on Survivor. And you had mentioned before we started this recording that Andy would you saw Andy and he was just saying that he was just trying to have some fun.
Oh
And
yeah,
I mean that is huge in Survivor. It's especially in the first few days, it's so nerve-wracking because you're on Survivor, you're on the TV show you've been waiting to get on for so long, and it could definitely be stressful. But if you learn to just like try to have fun and just enjoy your time, honestly, I feel like you can play a lot better and your spirits will be up and it will result in I feel like better gameplay on your part. And I know Andy is friends with a lot of people that I know from the LRG community, from the Survivor watch party community as well. And
myself included.
yeah, so you're friends with Andy too, right?
He's a great guy. Him and Tini I knew both before the season. Just salty earth people and
Hmm.
watching them both live out their dream and have a blast. And let me just say, if Survivor started on day 5, Andy might be playing one of the better games I've ever seen.
Hmm.
But he dug himself such a bad hole on days one through 4 with with obviously the blow up and all that, and then the whole like beware advantage crap. Which Andy, I love you, but he's crushing me. But he sets our expectations down to the floor and then builds them up and has this like king moment of sorts. And it was beautiful. And I gotta say, I was on the same page as Lexi. I really thought Annika was going the entire time. I was like, they're just trying to trick us. And so, Steven, I think you just got fooled by the editing, which I guess
Yeah, I
it
definitely got fooled by
is
the
good for.
editing.
Hey, I've listen. They fooled me earlier in the season. Like I thought Andy was gone first. But they this season, like you said, is getting better and better. We start this episode coming off the heels of, I will say, the best blindside I have seen in years. And then with that, Rome's ultimatum, which not a threat, ultimatum, whatever you want to call it. He even gave me a little bit last night. And then to this, which I will say, I don't think was as good as the Keyshawn blindside, but this reaction that we got, just like it's everything that Survivor is to the core. Like it shows how immersed everybody gets in the experience and how it literally not as just a game is your life, and to see the life you've been living and the dream that Annika and I all had of winning the $1 million just get snatched. Oh, it hurt because I really like Annika. I was thrilled Andy was safe. Man, just this cast is here to play every single week, and I'm so here for it. And they're
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely think strategically and just based on like where he was in the tribe, Keyshawn's blindside was the craziest. But in terms of like you said, pure blindside emotion, pure just the word blindside, did not see it coming. Like Keyshawn definitely didn't see it coming going into it, but after the vote was stolen, he was kind of nervous. Annika did not know until that third Annika vote was read, and they said that Annika was voted out, and that is the greatest blindside I've seen in a very long time in terms of just pure
That
emotion and reaction. Like very similar to what the hell, guys?
that's where I was going.
Hmm.
It was on that level, and oh, it's just so precious. And let me say, Survivor with their editing, even with 90 minutes, they have so much that's still on the cutting room floor. They let Annika from the minute her last vote was read to when her torture stuff. There was a minute of almost just pure silence,
Yeah, of her just standing
and
there.
it and you that could just come off terribly, but the way they edited it, that little hint of music, just perfect. It was so good. Just her asking like, was it you? Did you know? Who owned this? I gotta say, my favorite part is after her torch is snuffed and she's turning around and Andy and Sam wave and she's like,
Yep,
nah,
yep. Yeah.
nah. And then has that happen and then they're following her down the path and I'm just like and then she just starts to break down and I'm like, damn, damn, this game is on, this game is real. And I'm just like, I will say another reason. We don't need to go to Murgatory right away. Keep this going. If we're not going to swap, which I already think is a problem, if we're not going to swap, let these tribes have some more votes with each other. We're just getting going. Like it's only,
Exactly. I
and that
think
was day 10. We got that vote on day 10. And the emotion from just being out there a week and like almost a week and a half is so raw. Give it more time. Just,
100%, yeah. Um,
but can
I
I say
feel
one
like
thing?
the whole like the whole 7-7 tribe split the twist that we had. I wish that was a tribe swap, and I wish
Oh
they
yeah.
merged at like 12 or 11, and then because we would have had some good tribals.
Oh, we definitely would
We
have.
would one of them. We'll go over exactly who was on what tribe in a second, but it was a 3-3-1 split on one tribe and a
Yeah.
4-2-1 split on another. The 4-2-1 would have been a little bit less interesting. It'd be more so like who is going to get pulled in by blue kind of would have been like
I
the whole
disagree with you
thing.
there. I actually disagree with you. I think that tribe is messy, and that would have been more fun than you think. But
Okay.
just going
I
back to
know
this
you're
whole
right. You're right. That's a good point because of
but
Tiana and Kyle.
going back to this whole blindside real quick. I know it worked, but I'm sorry. If you have an idol good for one tribal council and you don't have the immunity necklace, like at the end of the game, Sam, I love you. What the hell? That is such a bad move. Maybe if nobody knows about it, I can kind of get it. But oh, that was bad. I mean, we
Yeah.
can get
No,
into it later if you
let's
want.
talk about
Or
that now.
okay,
Yeah,
let's go.
let's just do it. Um, so yeah, we're just gonna skip straight to tribal and we'll go over the rest of the
We'll
episode
go backwards.
afterwards.
Yeah,
Why not? We'll come back.
yeah.
So the uh so there
Am
was Sam and Sierra, right?
yeah,
They were both talking about how if they decide to keep Andy, then he'll find out about the idol, and because either Rachel will probably tell him after being blindsided, or Sam will play it for either him or for Andy,
yeah.
and then he'll find out that way. And so Andy might lose some trust with Sam and tell everyone that at the merge, uh, so that they can target him and Sierra. But at the same time, I'm thinking like if Andy gets saved by Sam and Sierra, either by an idol or just by a vote, Andy wouldn't be that betrayed. I mean, honestly, I think he would be just fine with it because like he wouldn't be trusting Rachel from Yellow, and it would be silly to try to turn on Sam and Sierra at the merge because those are two numbers that will have your back at the merge. So you would be one of those like you would be like Rachel, like a lost puppy trying to get an alliance with some other tribe. And at this point, I feel like even if he even if Sam played it on himself, like you said, and they still voted out Annika, I don't think Andy would really feel that betrayed that you hid an idol from me to the point where Andy's not going to work deep into the game with Sam and Sierra after just developing this trust, right? Well, that's what I'm feeling. What do you think?
I
Because you said you think Sam should have played it.
Oh, of course. I think there's no reason to just like eat an idol that literally has
Well,
no value
this
after
could
now.
be a reason.
Well, yes, here's my thing though. Two scenarios. If Sam wants to play it on Andy, even with the vote going 3-1 and it doesn't matter, it's a show of loyalty to Andy. In that moment, if somebody plays an idol on me, then you were like, oh my, not pissed that he didn't, that Sam didn't tell him. But I honestly think, and if I'm Andy and I go back to camp and Rachel comes up to me and is like, you know, Sam had an idol, right? I'm like, wait, what? I am like, okay, grateful that I'm safe, but my trust for Sam and Sierra goes way down. And the fact that they would be now going to emerge or emergatory, and he's already got relationships with Caroline and Teeny, and especially that blue tribe that's a group of five, even if they're fractured, I think Andy can put himself right in that position and really screw over Sam and Sierra if he wants to. I'm not saying it's the right move, but
All right, so then if that's
that
the
and then
case, then why do you think Sam should have played it?
well, one, I just think the how bad would that move have been if by some miracle, I don't know how, Sam goes home with it. What if uh Sierra and Rachel team up and Annika knew about it as well? What if the breadwinners actually team up and say, you know what? Sam has an idol and he doesn't, and they vote him out. That is the worst move. We are calling Sam the dumbest player on the history of this planet. Flat out, we are.
I would never
Oh, you wouldn't? Okay, I would.
because Andy is so insanely obviously
No,
his number
but
one is Andy, and
that's
Sierra
fine.
is so insanely obviously his number one is Sam.
Yes. No, I get it.
So I mean,
But
that would have been the one of the worst blindsides of Survivor history in
sure,
47 seasons.
for sure it would be. But when you have an idol that is good for one tribal, it literally is meaningless after this. Either I feel like you either have to play it for yourself just to ensure you're safe, because honestly, if everybody knows you have the idol anyway, and it's just gonna be talked about more at the merge, would you rather the discussion be like everybody went, Sam had an idol and like kept it from Andy and all this stuff, or just well, Sam found an idol that was good for a tribal and played it and it's gone. Or then if you really want to make a move and show loyalty, then play it for Andy. Do something with it because his kind of this almost feels like the just trying to have your cake and eat it too does nothing in my opinion.
What I'm interested in, which he probably did tell them, but I'm curious because we didn't see it on the actual show. Um, does did Rachel and Annika know it was a one tribal idol? Because I know Sierra was there when he found it, but they could have decided to say that they never finished the task or that they did finish the task. They do have the idol, but they could say it was a normal idol. Like, I don't know. Also,
That I might give you.
if
Okay, if
if Rachel decides not to say anything about this idol,
but she's
um,
not.
which
She's blind. She was blindsided. She's out down the numbers. I see no way she doesn't say it.
true, true. To Andy at least I could see,
Oh
but
yeah.
um, let's say she somehow doesn't, or yeah, let's say she somehow doesn't, and then she's an early boot. Maybe Sam could use this idol as a fake idol,
The fake idol part I can get behind a little bit.
or plant
Or
it for someone else.
that
And yeah,
maybe I still think is better bet. Like if you're really not going to, which I still don't, I flat out still don't get it unless you are guaranteed safe. We literally saw what happened last season. That's one thing, but I think you cannot assume that somebody you just blindsided is not going to spill your secret. And even if he doesn't know it, even if he doesn't know that Rachel t tells Andy, which I'm willing to bet she does, he has to act like she told him. And frankly, maybe to me, maybe his move is either play the idol for Andy and blind some other way, or right before tribal tell him, "Hey, dude, I found this. We're safe. Act like you're going home. We are safe. Votes are going on Annika." And
mhm.
then turn it into if I don't play it, we are using this together in the merge. That's how you because Sam was doing a very good job of I think bringing Andy in, making him feel good. Sierra, I could say the same thing about. And right now, as I think this move honestly might fracture Sam and Sierra a little bit, and frankly, I think it should for Sierra because she didn't really get her way here and was playing into Sam's hand. I think Andy needs to be at the center of that and be that person that the both of them come to. But right now, with the way Sam played that, I think if Rachel tells him, and he's gonna be really weary of Sam. And I'll just say this: it, the move is I don't blame them for the move to get rid of Annika. I think like on the surface, good move for him getting rid of somebody that wouldn't want to work with him long
100%.
term. But the way he went about it to me feels a little too cute, and I just think could. I'm not saying it would, but could make him a bigger threat and add at least cracks or fractures in relationships that he does not need going into a merge.
hmm I my prediction is that Rachel is gonna say something.
Of course.
Uh, but my prediction in response to that is also that I don't think Andy's gonna give a fuck at all. I really don't. I think he is a kind of player who, if he found an idol, he might have possibly kept it to himself. He might be some sort of game
Okay.
player to where he understands, like, okay, I understand why you didn't say anything. Um, Also, if he explains, like, listen, I had to tell Rachel and uh Sierra and Annika because Annika was there with me when I found it. And at the time that he didn't, he like, and he could also say that at the time that Andy was uh telling him like, oh, I think one of the girls has the idol, he could say that I still had not fully trusted you at that point, but you gained my trust to the point where you're now my you and Sierra are my number ones, and we're gonna rock this game together. I could see Andy not being that. I obviously I would be a little bit upset, but it wouldn't. I wouldn't be upset to the point where I would not want to work with them anymore and want them out of the game.
Well,
So I don't think it's gonna backfire as much as they maybe thought it would. Um, and also, maybe Sam could possibly play it off as if, wow, maybe Rachel has the idol because if Rachel is the one talking about, like, oh, like, this is what the idol was. It was this box, and you had to do something to get a key and then open the box, and then he fact checks it with the other tribe. That could possibly, instead of making it so obvious that Sam did have an idol, he could be like, Rachel only knows this because she has the idol.
one, I think Andy is the type of player, and he's talked about it, I remember his preseason rest. He is that overthinker. And I also know the way he knows the game better than most people. I don't see how he can at least how he really can let anything go of like, oh, I don't care. I think he's gonna care. I don't know if he's gonna care and like overreact and go crazy, but I think that plus the position we're at, where now he's about to get to meet what is it, 9 other people. And he's only met two of them. He's met Caroline Tini. So he already has a relationship with two of them. He's gonna meet seven more people. If I'm Andy at that moment, I'm at least like looking around of like, all right, I don't feel like I don't like he might feel good about Sam and Sierra, but I wonder if now he doesn't feel as good enough to bring them into an alliance that say he's brought into. And I
Okay.
think that little bit where he's not like before he like frankly the position I think Sam and to a lesser extent Sierra should be in is that Andy is literally working for them. Andy is literally almost like the you saved me, I am indebted to you, and now I'm going to be a spy, seeing if anyone's going to trying to go after you. Now I think Andy might be like at least willing to join this group and at least receptive to ideas of Sam going home. And I don't know,
Okay.
maybe it's a hot take,
Yeah,
but let's just say
we can
I
see.
think Sam overdid it.
We'll definitely see next episode how it all plays out, what Andy is thinking, if Rachel does spill it, and how it all plays out. Um, I think the complete opposite of what you say, but
Bring it on, let's
I'm
go.
glad we have differing opinions, and we'll see who's right. I think Andy's still gonna rock heavy with Sierra and Sam. You think there's a good chance that maybe he'll be open to the idea of
He should
turning
be
on
open.
them. So we'll see how it all goes down.
The better players at the merge are open to other possibilities, and especially
I think he'll always be open, but like
no.
I think he'll be open if it's Andy or Sam. I don't think he'll be open to, like, is it Sam or someone else he doesn't have that good of a relationship with. I think he'll just be like, all right, let's save Sam. You know what I mean?
We'll see. And let me be clear, Sam was my winner pick preseason. I think he's great, but I also think now he showed his cards a little bit. He's obviously a big guy in shape. People like him. Now that Annika's gone, I feel like he's gonna get along with just about everybody. I don't see how you don't take how people on the other tribe, especially, are like, oh damn, Sam's a threat. We'll see.
You think they will say he's a
Oh,
threat?
they have to think he's
Yeah,
a threat, and
I don't
especially
see a way
if
Sam gets that far in this game anymore. I think there's way too big of a target painted on his back already that him and Sierra are a pair and that they're running the game.
oh that on top of
And
it.
Rachel is about to say, they blindsided me. They are working together. It's them and Andy that are in a tight three. They left me out of the vote. And what's it called? Sam said that it was his plan at tribal council when Annika asked. Like, I bet all of that is going to be spilled, and I think he's got a few more tribals left in him
You actually made a good another argument, I think, for why Andy should almost jump ship. Because
because
do
you
you
don't
want to
want to
be a
be
so
associated
does
with
he
that.
should he want and I exactly. So he's got they've all got to watch out. Um, by the
Yeah.
way, can we talk
Um,
about that last vote for a minute and just talk about Genevieve?
the fact that she had zero edit
Wh-
and now is like the mastermind of the game.
What? What a move. What a queen. Oh my God. And I really think the timing of her move, I think, works out almost perfectly. That there is another move after that, another big blindside. And the type of game I think she's playing, she very well could fade into the background come the merge. And dare I say, winner? Dare I say, she could be the wolf in sheep's clothing or the wolf in Waldo's clothing.
That's
I,
funny because
I am so impressed with her.
That's
And
funny because every episode, almost every podcast episode, I have been on here saying that I think Genevieve is going to be the Mergatory boot
you know, I
because
get
I
that.
think that Saul is definitely going to target Rome. He's gonna say all the things that Rome did to him and like confront him about the threats, which I think are ultimatums. I'm right there with you.
Ultimatums are threats, yes. Let's be
They are
clear about
threats, but
that.
like it is it is what it is. I feel like the way Rome approached it was awful.
Awful. Yeah,
Definitely
no.
definitely the wrong way to approach it the way he did for sure. But I do understand the concept of Soul is going home if he doesn't at least try something because
Yeah.
it seemed like they were in a tight four until shit hit the fan that round. But if shit did not hit the fan, if Keyshawn did not try to target Rome, if Rome and Genevieve did not try to target Keyshawn, if Teeny had a vote, it was like a lot of different things could have happened, like happened that shouldn't have happened, and it
Yeah.
should have been just Saul going home. But and that in that scenario, she should have tried anything.
Oh
But
yeah.
I do understand at the same time, what you have to think about in that situation, which I talked about last episode, was kind of what John Lovett said in his exit interview, why he did not play his shot in the dark. He thought that he had a better than 1 in 6 chance to be saved by the vote than he did being saved by the shot in the dark, which is kind of what Saul is probably thinking. Like, I probably have a worse than 1 in 6 chance that Rome is telling me the truth. So let me keep my shot in the dark so that I could play it and at least have a 1 in 6 chance of being safe. I think that's what probably was going through his head. That's what would have been going through my head because I definitely would not be trusting Rome after the way he was, kind of treating him with the whole idol situation, like following him around, not letting him sit on the beach with him, stuff like that.
Rome following Saul to the bathroom.
Following Saul to the bathroom. Wait, did he?
I mean, basically,
I
Saul's
mean,
like,
he
I'm gonna go take a.
probably. I mean, we
Oh
didn't see that on
yeah,
the episode, but I
we
mean,
did. See,
probably.
I'm gonna assume that the way the conversation went, Saul. That Rome would have. Rome was crazy enough that he would have. He's like,
100% is
bro. I love. That's what I love about him. He's so committed to the pit that he would have gone for it. But the point with Genevieve, and I very well could see that scenario. I do. Like, I think you're crazy with a lot of it. I don't think you're crazy there. But I think Genevieve can pretty well play off the Roman Saul argument. Let them go at it. And I think now, as you add other power players to that mix, if Genevieve can get in, sink her teeth into the other two tribes and just form really strong bonds, I think she can back out of this.
yeah,
And
I
her and Teeny as well, I think can be
100%
a
Teeny
really,
definitely can.
really solid group going toward the end. And I'm really curious. Like we've got the Caroline, Andy, Teeny group that have the amulet. And I
Yes.
actually think
Yeah,
this season
Andy has the amulet. That's right.
the way they're gonna go about it, the way they've changed this twist, I think they might actually work together a bit more. And
Yep.
then I look at that and I'm like, all right, who is each person theoretically going to bring along to try to form a majority, at least at the beginning? And I'm like, Tina's gonna take Genevieve almost certainly. I feel pretty confident like Tina would grab Genevieve and let Roman Sol just be like, all right, you guys are gonna go at it. We're gonna get out of the way. Caroline probably is bringing Sue along.
I don't
I don't
think
know,
Teeny's bringing anybody.
but I think Tina knows she needs numbers and would at least consider. And I think I do actually think she brings Genevieve. She brings Genevieve. Caroline brings Sue. I don't know if Andy brings anybody. Maybe he tries Sam and Sierra, or at least tries to bring in Sam. And then that way you have a group six. If you bring in one more person, you're at a majority already. And depending on how these groups split up in terms of like who's immune and who's not,
I think there's a
I don't.
chance there could be a lot more fluid game in this merge, which is nice because there's at
Oh my
least
God.
one person on the bottom of every tribe
Oh yeah.
going in some tribes even two people on the bottom going into this mergatory. So it's definitely going to be very chaotic. What I'm thinking about why Genevieve might be the mergatory boot is I think that if it's the same twist where half is going to be safe and half is not going to be safe, I think that Rome and Genevieve will be on separate teams. I think Rome's going to win. Rome's going to be immune, but everybody is going to want Rome out because of just the way he's acting on the island. And I think more people are going to be drawn to the story that Saul is going to be pitching. I think just from what Saul is going to say, which we can kind of see from the scenes from the next episode, is pretty much going to be saying about this ultimatum, about this threat, is probably going to be a big thing that is, and also just following him around, not letting him do anything. I think that people are going to be more receptive to that than Rome's side of the story. So because Rome is safe and they realize that Genevieve just saved Rome's ass, I think they could target Genevieve as a way of re weakening Rome. So that's what I've always thought
Interesting.
in because I feel like maybe she'll be the only red, or maybe there's going to be another red, maybe Teeny available to be voted out, but Teeny's going to have better relationships. So they're like, oh, we got to get out a red person. So, but let's, we like Teeny, so let's get rid of Genevieve. Something like
Let me
that is
let
what
me
I'm thinking, but I
let
don't
me
know.
posit you a couple things. In your scenario, if there's a scenario where Rome is going after Genevieve, I almost think that works out well for Genevieve. Rome, I think, is such a social pariah right now, and at least to the other two tribes, they're if the minute they start hearing the stories, like they already know Rome's a bit extroverted, out there, boisterous, and I think the minute they hear, like, especially if Saul starts like telling stories left and right of Rome literally follow like was basically following me around all day. He literally wouldn't let me go to the bathroom and all this stuff. Frankly, if I'm another player and I see Rome's going after Genevieve, I'm like, Genevieve, come here. There's no shot we're doing what Rome wants. They're not letting Rome run this. And I'm really I will say I'm really curious, obviously, to see how these groups shake out. But look at in terms of tribe numbers, we've got four on Lavo, the red tribe. Now we've got four on yellow and the Gaga tribe.
Mhm.
And there is a very fractured five over on Tuku.
But
I'm really curious to see if there's some way that at least some of the people on Lavo and Gata come together and then maybe strike at that Tuku group. And I think is really interesting in this whole scenario? Someone who's gotten nearly no screen time the last few episodes. Tiana. Where does Tiana fit into all this? Because on her original tribe, yeah, she's probably gone next. This is her chance, I think, to really make a place for herself and make solid relationships. And I really think
I don't
whichever
see it. I really don't see it. I don't.
interesting, because I think if she, like, listen,
I think she's
I
gonna make good, maybe good relationships, but I don't. I think she'll make good relationships. I don't think she'll make good alliances. I think people
mm,
are gonna want to align with Sue and Caroline, and they're gonna be like,
that
let's not align with Tiana, or not necessarily say I don't want to align with Tiana, but not like really include them. Like, no, they're not going
I
to want to target Tiana, but they're not going to want to necessarily be like, let's work together with Tiana. They were going to if the girls stuck together on Yellow because
yeah,
they were going to do an all girls thing, but
mhm.
that's out the door
I'm
now.
you make a good point there, but I am really curious to see how Tiana fit. I feel like Tiana would almost fit into whatever the opposing group is in that scenario. And I'm really curious to see how she would potentially get along with people on the other tribes, especially a Sierra and or that brings in Sam. I think she's really interesting, and
Yeah.
obviously just so likable.
It's for sure going to be interesting. I could see so many different things happening. It's
Literally,
going to be so unpredictable. Like we can think
what
we have this all predicted, but
s-
every
s-
single episode seems to be
s-
either unpredictable to us or
yeah.
unpredictable to the players. So it's gonna be good.
Steven, let me tell you, in our little eliminator league, I do not know who I'm picking next week. The last few
The
weeks I've been like,
survivor
all right,
pool, yeah.
yeah, like I just don't want to call it a survivor pool, but
Right, right.
basically the for those who don't know, it's you pick one person who isn't going home each week, and then you can't use them again. I've just been trying to play it like pretty safe the last few weeks, and I'm like, all right, who has an idol, who's in a really good spot, and now I'm like, obviously it's merged, you don't know, but I with this group, I really don't know. Like what we've done, we've already gone back and forth. Like
I mean,
I
there's
told you
one
out,
person, there's one person who's like a surefire safe bet.
who,
Sue.
you know,
No one's
I
going after Sue for the first
I
vote.
I think I agree with you. I do. And I would put her, I would say Teeny as well is probably pretty safe. But again, one, how do these groups split? How are they who's safe, who's not? And let
Mhm.
me say something about Sue, who I think is awesome. One, if anybody comes back to this group and tells the red paint story, that already starts to bring Sue's threat level up a little bit more.
It's different.
It
It's different for every tribe.
Yes, but if they start telling the story about how Sue got caught literally red-handed. Because I'm sorry, that lie was terrible.
The
She
lie
played,
was terrible, but they didn't know it was red paint. They thought it was just a little bit of blood. And
yeah,
Tiana still thinks that Gabe is looking for an idol. So Tiana is
yes,
the one who is the most like sus
I
about it and doesn't think that Sue has an idol. So she got away with it. It was a bad lie, terrible lie,
she
but
got. I think like you could say she kind of a little bit got away with it. That I'm sorry, I listen. She is in great shape. Nobody should believe she's 45. I'm sorry. I listen. Love you, Sue. Legitimately. You beautiful, strong, amazing career, all that stuff. I don't know how anyone believes she's 45. And the minute, if that story goes, if she starts telling anybody else she's 45, I'm sorry if I'm out there, I'm like, this feels like a really unnecessary thing to lie about.
I don't think anyone's thinking that you're lying about your age.
No, I
So
mean,
I feel like they
but
probably just think that she is
yeah, like,
looks older than her age.
don't get me wrong. I don't think she's going this episode. I'm just trying to play like like see a scenario where she potentially goes home. And I think we're talking about how good a game Sue is playing. I think at some point the other players see it, and that's what makes me worried for Sue long term.
I think the only way Sue goes home is if nobody wants to work with Caroline or Gabe.
And if they see that as a tight trio,
I don't think they will. I don't think
I don't think they will either. I
Caroline
don't think,
is not going to make it seem like that. Not
and I
only
think, yeah,
because she doesn't want to put a target on them, but I think that Caroline really only cares about Sue. And if worst case scenario, Gabe had to go, she wouldn't be completely against it, but obviously she's working with Gabe.
yeah. I'm just, she's so interesting to me. And
Yeah, but we'll see.
yeah, what did you?
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
I'll let you say what you wanted to ask me, and then we'll get to the reward challenge.
That's exactly where I was going.
Okay, perfect.
What one thing I would have loved to have seen them do? I'm curious what you think about this. Obviously, I think they didn't do it for time. How would you have felt about them doing schoolyard pick?
I would have loved it. Um, that would have been fantastic. What I actually think could have been a fun could be a future fun new twist um for a tribe swap, which I didn't think it was actually going to happen, but I thought, oh, this would be so cool if it did. Um, you give them a time limit to make their own tribes. So
Oh,
you have to decide, do you want to be on the same tribe as a close ally, or do you want to separate?
okay.
Do you want to, if you're in
Let
the middle, which side do you choose?
let
If you're on the bottom and you only have one close ally and you want to be with them, but but the
what
rest of them don't, the rest
what
of the people don't want you together. They're not going to want Sam and Sierra together, so they might try to split them up. Like it could get
that's it.
interesting.
Let me ask you this though. Are you then telling them, hey, you have to make two groups of seven?
Yeah,
Or you kind of just okay. Because I'm like really curious if you said you can make the groups any size you want as long as you don't have one tribe at the end of this.
it would be
You can have two or three.
two groups of
I
seven, and
then
then
that's interesting.
if in the next in let's say in 10 minutes, if you
Put the
can't
sign. Give him a
decide,
sand timer.
yeah, give him a sand timer. If you are not on a mat, um, by the end of the sand timer, you lose your vote at the next tribal, and you're going straight to tribal council.
Oh
Like
man,
so like it like really
I do
scare
like that.
them so that they get
I
that
do
mix
like
up.
that.
Yeah.
Man, I think that would be fun. But I will say the pressure of the sand timer is something really interesting to me. Um, because going back to that last vote, where the last journey with Caroline, Annie, and Teeny. Um, let's just say I heard that Teeny bowed out with a lot of time left on the clock. It was not down to the final seconds and Teeny was like, I'm gonna lose my vote. They kind of pretty early on
Mhm.
gave that up. And I think that is really interesting. And in terms of I think the way Teeny plays the game, but with that, Teeny giving up their vote really early, then losing Keyshawn almost because of it. And now they have to go back and work with Caroline and Andy. I'm really curious to see if A, they feel any kind of like indebted towards her, towards Teeny, and how that affects Teeny's game going forward because it almost felt like in that round, maybe that they were playing a little, I don't want to say scared, that's not the right word, but a little comfortable by just being like, oh, I'll lose my vote. It's fine.
Well, I think Teeny did a great job explaining that it seemed pretty obvious that it was going to be Rome or Saul, and then it ended up being Kishan. So it's pretty obvious that yeah, maybe she thought she was a little safer. Um, and she was okay with losing her vote. And now it's so obvious that she's on the bottom because she
Yeah.
thought it was going to be two people, and it wasn't either of them. It was actually her closest ally. So I think this could actually work more in her favor
Yeah.
than against her.
I I think I agree with you and I want to agree with you. But man, losing your number one ally when you didn't have a vote, that is tough, and I'm really curious to see how Teeny plays it. But that
I
actually
mean,
gets me.
Keyshawn still would have been gone if Teeny had a vote.
It's funny. I don't know. I actually don't know about that.
If you think about the numbers.
The numbers plain and simple, I get. But are people willing to make that move, knowing Teeny has a vote, and then Teeny has a lot more sway in the whole thing?
Yep. If Teeny's on board for Rome.
If and I could see it, but then I think Teeny almost plays it differently. So I'm curious. I don't know.
I think
But
Teeny
yeah,
was just as annoyed with Rome as Keyshawn was, and I think
I think
Teeny would have gone along with it.
annoyed with, but I don't know if Teeny is just letting that move happen. But I will say
Well,
to tie it,
I feel like she would not have been uh scared to talk to Keyshawn and say like this is probably not a great move for us. We should stick with Rome. Uh
hmm,
So the fact that Teeny did not say that and Kishan still wanted to go with the plan, or that Teeny was not able to convince Kishan to switch, and there was not a single mention of Teeny going up to Genevieve and Kishan and being like, "Hey guys, we shouldn't vote out Romans." Actually, I just don't think that conversation happened. So I think that Teeny was either I don't have a vote, so let me just not get involved at all, or she actually was 100% on board with Rome. I think it was the second one. I think she was 100% on board with Rome and just didn't have a vote. So she could play it off as if she was just told a plan and that's it. But Rome
But
made a great point at the start of the episode. Like, you did not tell me that, like, I know you didn't have a vote, but you did not tell me that
yeah,
I was supposed to be the vote. If you
but
are this close of an ally to me, you should have told me that I was going to be the vote.
yeah.
So I 100% understand Rome losing all trust in Teeny and Teeny being very scared about that relationship now with Rome.
But Roman should have lost trust in Teeny the first time when he caught Teeny showing the advantage to Keyshawn red hand. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
sorry, and
100%.
do I want to blame Rome for that? Yes, a little bit, but that's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
a lot of credit to Teeny, the way they can spin stories. And now I really think this vote happening right where it did have that happening. Then you have the Survivor Social Hour. I think Teeny is setting themselves up in a fantastic spot. And just to reset this whole twist, Teeny ended up being the only one from that tribe. Then you had Rachel and Sam from Gata with Caroline, Kyle, Sue, and Tiana.
Yep.
To say a fractured group is an understatement. And the way I will say, so impressed with Teeny in that spot, doing everything they needed to do, I think, to set themselves up in a position of kind of I'm on the outs. I'm the I need everybody. I need you guys to help me.
Hmm.
And then on the same point, watching Sue get annoyed with Tiana talking about Gabe. Oh, just I think this is playing into Teeny's hands so much.
Yeah, for sure. Um, the fact that Tiana puts a target on Gabe's back by saying that he's always looking for idols, he's chaotic, didn't have great vibes when talking to him all the time.
Yeah.
And then Kyle and Tiana both talked about how he actually played an idol at his first tribal council. That definitely is going to put a target on Gabe's back. I think Gabe might be able to get out of it with help from Caroline and Sue. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see who wants to team up with who on blue, because that's going to really be
The
a very big deal in
the
terms of who's going to be targeted, Kyle and Tiana or Gabe. And I feel like Tiana would be more of a target than Kyle until Kyle wins challenges, because Kyle, I feel like, has been in these challenges like the hunter of the season.
oh yeah.
He's
I think
doing a
how
great job, but I don't
oh
think that he's going to be seen as a challenge threat that we need to get
yeah.
out. I think he's just really good at the end of the tribe challenges. I think Tiana would be and Gabe would be the people who would be targeted on blue
Yeah.
first.
And let me say this. I don't think Tiana will be a slouch in these challenges either. I could see her doing really well.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm curious about with the two of them, Kyle, I think, is the person who might more so try to work with his original tribe and be on that. Tiana, I think, knows she's dead in the water with this group and is going to jump ship immediately. And I think if Tiana can make those
No,
relationships
I
with
think
people in those two
Tiana.
tribes early, I think Tiana can put herself in a very good spot.
I don't think Tiana is jumping ship. I think Tiana is trying to get Gabe out and then is going to stay on the ship.
Yeah, yes, but what ship is she on then? If she's trying to get Gabe out, who's going along with that?
The other tribes.
No, that's what I'm saying. She needs to get. That's what I mean
Yeah,
by
but
she needs to.
she's not gonna just jump ship
She needs
completely
to.
from her blue, but like
I think
be
she
like, hey,
might,
I want to align with this tribe
but
instead.
I think she's aware enough that she's on the outs, and I really hope so after that horrible lie with Gabe. Man, that was bad.
Yeah, that was
Tiana,
bad.
Tiana,
Telling
you're
Gabe.
amazing. Oh my
So yeah,
God.
talking about that, Caroline. So Sue tells Gabe when they get back from the reward about this, and then Caroline tells Tiana that you should probably tell Gabe about what you said because at the merge,
Oh man.
everyone is going to already know, and they're probably going to tell Gabe that you said this. So you should nip it in the butt now. And then
Oh, that
instead
was
of
so
being
bad.
completely honest, literally says, I pulled Teeny and Rachel aside privately and only told them that you played an idol at your tribal council. That's it.
Oh my
So
God.
stupid.
Tiana, I adore one. If Caroline's coming up with to you with that, if I am her, and obviously I'm her with more not on a day 10 of Survivor brain, I am doing everything I can to get out of this. There is no good that comes from me coming clean to Gabe. Coming either fully clean or even this partially clean. Because I have to assume at that point that everything I said to the other tribes is going to get out to Gabe, either from my own tribe saying it now, or when we get to emerge, them telling Gabe this. And frankly, I think the minute you do this, which I will say that was I think maybe Tiana's first screw up, the minute you start throwing Gabe under the bus, you need to basically just admit this is a lost cause. Me and Gabe are not working at this. It's oil and water. It will not happen. The
Yeah.
more Tiana's opening her mouth and trying to like do this half-ass apology, I think understandably Gabe is like, I can't trust you as far as I can throw you.
Well, yeah, but you weren't gonna trust her anyway, even if
Yes,
she didn't
but it
say
makes it
anything.
worse.
So I don't know if it
But
makes it that much
to me
worse.
but it doesn't. Here's the thing: any little thing, I think it takes the chances of Gabe. I won't say not working with Tiana, but at least not immediately targeting her. It brought it from that to now. Gabe has his sights set on Tiana. Like she has to go, almost maybe to an irrational point where I think at the merge he could be so irrationally focused. Rome may be irrationally focused on eating Sala, and Gabe may be irrationally focused on eating Tiana out. And frankly, that could blow up both their games.
It's gonna
Uh,
be explosive. I'm excited.
I'm really excited. But I do have a question for you.
Sure.
How do you think this whole Survivor Social Hour goes if the result is slipped and the Genevieve, Rome,
Ooh,
Saul,
okay.
Andy, Annika, Sierra, and Gabe group go together? I'm
That's
real.
that's a great question.
Thank you.
Let's look at this.
So you've got, yeah, I'll reset it. You got three from Labo in Genevieve, Rome, and Saul,
Okay.
which is a little interesting group right there. Then you have Andy, Annika, and Sierra together. And then Gabe's just there on his own.
I don't think Gabe gives much information.
Probably
Um,
not. I think Gabe maybe mentions that he
I
plays the
don't think
idol.
he says he's on the bottom, but I don't think he says he's on the top either. I think he's
But
gonna say that he was included in the vote last minute, maybe in the TK vote, but he voted the right way. Um, and I think, but the tribe is super kumbaya, so it's something like that along those
but
lines, maybe. I think
Ro-
with
to Roman, how do Rome and Saul go about it?
oh my
Especially Rome. How does
God.
how is Rome with everybody? Oh my God, oh, I think it would be the funniest. We missed out.
I think that helped Rome not being there because
Oh yeah. Anything that involves Rome not talking, frankly,
yeah,
I think is a good thing at
honestly,
this point.
this merge is so fucked for him.
Oh my God.
But
We're
he's about to give some good TV.
um
He's gonna be like the
but
cockroach that never dies.
uh,
Or he's gonna be
oh
like the
man.
first juror or something.
We'll see.
He
I'm
has to
so
be
cu-
on the jury. Please make the jury.
Oh my God, we need him on
Oh.
the jury. We need him on the jury so bad.
Oh,
But
by the
let me
way,
say
before
this.
we continue talking about him, I heard from you that Rome listens to this podcast.
He
So
might. He might.
he might. So Rome, if you're listening, love you, brother. It's so much fun getting to watch you on the screen, and thank you so much for watching the podcast. That's awesome.
Yes.
And
And
we love talking about you and all of
Ro-
your mistakes.
I said this to Rome yesterday, and Rome is such a good sport about all this. Like I was saying, like, oh, I'm like might have to like I'm a little I'm you know me. I'm an honest guy. I'm gonna call it like it is. And he's like, no, talk more shit about me. So I'm obliging. I'm not gonna lie. The best reward, like I think each player, like if you almost gave them like a reward that might help player, Rome's best reward would be duct tape. Duct tape his mouth shut, and then
Nah, yeah, that's
he
fact.
can't get himself into trouble. I think oh man, like if he could figure out a way to tone it down at the merge in some way, I don't know how, if you're a way to tone it down and be this likable guy that I saw yesterday. He's genuinely that. He is such a social butterfly when he wants to be. I also see how he's a bit abrasive, and let's just say I could see how him and Saul don't get along in the game. But if he can tone this down in any way, he has a shot. If not, Rome's gone very soon. Very
Yeah.
soon.
And then I also think with Yellow, it's interesting that Annika and Andy are both there. I don't think Annika pushes that hard up on Andy in terms of private conversations. Probably just
Yeah.
says like I think Andy might be next, or might even just not say that, and Annika might be thinking more strategically, like, oh, we are Kumbaya. Um, but to get Andy not to maybe play a shot in the dark in the next tribal if they have to go back, in case it gets around or whatever.
Yeah.
I do think that Andy could possibly tell people that he is on the bottom, maybe. I'm not sure. I think it would have been interesting if Rachel was there instead of Sierra, then absolutely Andy would have had no problem saying it privately to people.
Oh, that yeah,
But with
Sam.
Sierra there,
Then you're doing the Sam and Sierra thing.
yeah,
Here's the interesting thing. I think if you have that group, if you're having Rome and Saul together, if anybody goes off and has a private conversation with Genevieve, and I think frankly Genevieve might have conversations with Sierra and Annika especially. That could that could have been. I think frankly that would have helped Genevieve's game so much. Gone on that, like it did help
it
Teeny. Although
definitely would
Teeny,
have helped. Yes, 100% it would have helped Genevieve's game if it was the roles reversed, but now it's helping Teeny's game a little bit more.
yeah, but
Yeah, I
also,
totally agree with
how
that.
does Gabe not find an idol being by himself though? He
Dude,
probably had an hour,
Sue has
maybe
an
two.
idol. Sue has the idol.
But like, how does he like not go?
Sue has the
I
idol.
no no no.
That's
I
why it's
know
not
he.
shown
No,
in the
I
episode.
know. But why didn't we see any of him searching? Because he doesn't know that.
Be because why would you show on TV someone searching for an idol that's not there when there's so
Because
many
funny.
better?
Because this is funny.
But
I do.
they put so many great scenes in this
They
episode.
did. I'm not begrudging them. And listen, I get it's a tough job. I think I would have loved a cutscene, even for like 10, 15 seconds of Rome of Gabe going crazy, searching for an idol that we all know is not there.
It would have been funny.
And how does
I think it
he?
would be a great deleted scene if Jeff
Yeah.
Probst,
Hopefully,
if you're watching, give us that deleted scene.
get us that and get me the how does everyone come back to camp and be like, so Gabe, what'd you do for the last 2 hours?
Right?
I took a nap.
I just took a nap.
The only way that works is if Gabe is actually asleep when they get back, which is just impossible.
Yeah.
But man,
Um
we need more. 90 minutes is not enough. I can't believe I'm saying that. 90 minutes for this season is not enough.
yeah.
This is
Also,
so
this
much
reward was
fun.
whack. So whack.
I
One
loved it.
singular hot dog with no
Good.
condiments.
It's Survivor.
What do you
Oh
mean
my,
it's a reward?
it's on Survivor. They can fucking deal with one hot dog. I'm sorry.
No,
Actually, I'm not.
dude. No,
I
dude.
will say, and
If I got this reward and I saw heard hot dogs, I would and got so
okay,
excited and
you
then
you
one hot dog
and I'm listen. Maybe I'm on the outside. And I think
and
if
no
I was there,
condiments,
if I
no
was there, I might
fixing.
feel different. I might feel different. I kind of enjoyed it. Make them work. It gave me, I'll say for anyone who's seen an Australian Survivor, a very minor spoiler. They did a reward a few years ago where they told them you're going to the fish and chip shack, which all the players there were like, oh, good, we're gonna get like fish and chips. You know what they got? They literally got some fish straight out of the ocean and a bag of potatoes. Here you go, have fun. And
Dang,
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm
that's pretty
mean.
funny.
Maybe I'm mean. I like seeing them messed with a little bit. Make them and hey, they gave him a grill set. Here are the hot dogs. They even gave a vegetarian one for Kyle, which looked like
Yeah,
dog shit. I'm sorry, it did.
it was.
And said, "Here you go, have fun." And they loved it. They're like, "Oh my God, we have something else to eat." Yeah, was it much? No, and I don't need these rewards to all the time be like, "Oh, this is amazing." But just mess with them a little. This is fun.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
so last thing I wanted to bring up about this reward was
oh wait, there's more.
Caroline says how she feels great with Rachel and Teeny
Yeah.
and says that Sue is her number one and would be a great person to work with too. So actively kind of putting
Okay.
out there like if you like me and want to work with me, you have a second number in Sue. So that's two people that you can work with and we can run this game. And I
Okay.
think that it depends on who you say this to if it's smart or not. I think it's showing that you're in a pair with someone is not a great move, but at the same time, everyone knows that everyone has probably a number one ally in the game. And if you're going to bring someone into an alliance, you're going to bring in your number one. So I
Yeah.
don't think it, in the moment, I'm right then and there when I heard it, I thought it was a stupid move. But thinking back
Yeah.
on it now, I really don't think it was that bad. I think it actually was is good for Caroline's game because now if people are liking and wanting to work with her, they could pull in Sue also,
It,
and that's more numbers.
I think that's really interesting. One, I will give. I love Caroline's line of just, well, they're playing cornhole, I'm playing Survivor. When
I like
she was
that.
having that
Yeah.
conversation with Teeny
And they were
and
really good at
Rachel.
cornhole, unless it, I mean, they were only showing
Oh,
the good scenes, but
I was
really
saying
good.
this to a friend of mine yesterday. One, I'm in real life, I'm pretty damn good at cornhole. Not good
Mhm.
at many other sports. I'm good at cornhole.
Same, same.
It would have taken every ounce of me to not show that I'm good at cornhole. Because frankly, I think any little advantage that you can get in the game is a good one. And frankly, if I'm playing cornhole and actually trying to win, they see how competitive I am. It's like that's absolutely useless. And
That's
like,
interesting. I would have
and
tried to
oh, I'm so
win.
yeah,
That
yeah.
would
And
have
you would
been, I
have tried
guess
to
that's a
win,
good.
and Steven, I would have been like, oh, this guy can throw stuff. They do challenges throwing things all the time, and I would have used any
That's a good
the beauty
point.
the beauty of survivors. You can use any little thing to target somebody.
Yeah.
And I will say, the fact that Caroline, Teeny, and Rachel were not even like in the picture in that moment, that I will say I didn't love from them. Because you have out of seven people, one just being a minority of three, not being in the group. I don't know if I love that. I hope that conversation was
I
shortened.
love that because
No,
you're not going to be a part of that conversation if you're you want to have
like
these like
you
individual
do.
conversations. You
You
can't really get
do.
to know someone in a group.
Yes. Yeah, no, I get that. I do. But I'll say while the four of them are playing cornhole, they in their eye, like they know, oh, Caroline, Tina, and Rachel are right over there talking. Like you could see it. I worry about that a little bit, just a little. But I will say that grouping is so interesting to me, and I want to fixate on that more because you've got Caroline and Teeny who went on the journey together, and
Yes,
they have that
and they
amulet.
really like
So
each other.
so you already have them. You add Andy. Caroline
Who I
already took
think would be
Car.
a good ally to
I
them.
agree. Caroline already talks about how much she loves Sue. That's five right there. I think Teeny bring or that's four. I think Teeny does bring in Genevieve, and I think that makes five.
Andy
And then
brings in Sam,
I don't you. It's funny. I
maybe.
think that's possible. Actually, you know what? No, actually, I think that's actually not possible. I think if you have Rachel in that group, because Rachel's in that conversation right then and there, that having Rachel there instead of Sam, I think is could be detrimental to his game. Because if you have Andy and Rachel, they are not bringing in Sam. There is no way they get on the same page. Like, let's bring Sam into this. So you have Andy and Rachel.
They're not all going to work together. It's not they're not going to make an alliance. They're going to make a
I
understanding.
don't know. I don't know. I could
I
see
don't
them.
see they're going
I
to be
could
a
see.
46 like, oh, let's make this like pull in one person alliance type deal.
I
Like
got. I'm just saying. I think it's smart for them if they do, and because they've already kind of got it. They're already starting that. You already have Caroline saying, "I'm pulling in Sue." Teeny probably is
I
desperate
don't
for
think
allies
I
and
don't
looks
think
towards.
Teeny's pulling anyone in. And I don't think
I
Andy is either unless it's a
Teeny.
Sam.
No, I think Teeny's smart enough to pull. I think Teeny's smart knowing that they are on the out. Not I would say on the outs, but at least perceived as being on the outs, and being like, I need somebody. Another person that Teeny can maybe get, I think, at this point is Genevieve. Letting the key thing I think is letting Roman Sol just keep going at it, getting out of the way. Maybe Teeny brings in Genevieve because I think Genevieve is playing a really good game, a really good social game, especially. Rachel's already there. So you already have Rachel and Andy. There is no way they go with Sam and Sierra in that instance. And then I'm really curious, does Caroline and Sue try to pull in Gabe to make seven? And Gabe, I think, is that
I
really interesting wild card.
I think
Is
this is
he's
definitely an interesting thing to think about, but I don't think there's I mean, there's always a world where anything could happen, but based on the way Teeny one feels and two made it out to look in this social hour, I don't think there's any way Teeny pulls in someone on her original tribe. Nope, I
I
don't think it's gonna happen. I
we'll see.
also don't think that Rachel and Andy are gonna work together. So I think that if they do have some sort of alliance, I think she's gonna have to pick and choose either Rachel or Andy. Uh and whoever because I don't think they're gonna want to work together, and I think they're gonna blow up the alliance if both of them know about it. One of them might blow up the alliance if they realize that they're on the bottom of it.
I-
So
If they do, then I'm really curious to see how Caroline and Sue almost don't step on landmines. Because this group that I've posited in what you're talking about, obviously we found a lot of holes in it. We found a lot of issues. How do Caroline and Sue get out of that then?
get out of what?
If they like almost become part of this like group that already we're seeing has very many potential pitfalls no matter who they pull in and out, I am really curious to see how Caroline and Sue as almost a known duo, like they're I think they could get on the level of Sam and Sierra in terms of being like just a so widely known out there duo, and that worries me for the both of them.
I don't know. I mean, I it definitely worries me being so out there as a duo. That's very scary, and I think that could be detrimental. But Sue is also Caroline's making it that pitch to people. Sue, I think, is more loyal to Gabe than Caroline, slightly. They're practically both her number ones, but if she had
Yeah.
to pick one, I think she picks
And I
Gabe.
think that's a big mistake.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a big mistake.
And that's where I worry about too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, but
But I just don't see this alliance thing that we're talking about forming. I think it's going to be more so people working with people and maybe some more voting blocks. I could see something along the lines
we're
of
bringing back
season.
the voting block.
I think a season bring back season 31. I think it could
Uh,
be kind of similar to that in a way, at least for the first few votes, and then maybe it starts and getting back to tribal lines, and then maybe it gets
ooh.
back to voting blocks. Um, I think that I feel like there is so much um, like turmoil in the tribes, in each tribe, that I don't see everyone working together, but I can see once the person or people in the tribe are out that were causing the turmoil, once it's if one tribe gets down to just their core group, they're
So
going
you're
to
saying
work together.
once Rome gets at home.
No, that whole group is pretty much screwed. I think
Yeah.
blue. I think blue. If they can get Tiana
Wait,
out, I think the blue can run shit.
no. Oh, I disagree with you completely there.
Really.
I think Sue does not trust Kyle.
Okay,
I and
I
Sue
could
has
see that.
tunnel and Sue and this is what I listen, I love Sue. She's great entertainment. Sue has tunnel vision.
Okay, I could
And
see
that
that. I
worries
could see
me.
that.
It really worries me. But one thing I love that this episode we haven't talked about yet. As they're on their reward, we go back to Lavo with Genevieve,
Oh my
Rome, and
God,
Saul.
yeah.
Oh my God, the funniest thing where we go, Rome talking to Saul to try to get Otini. Then Rome goes to Genevieve. And then Genevieve and Saul compare notes. And they're just like, they're both in 5 seconds like, how the fuck did either of us believe Rome? He's such an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah,
And as
with
Genevieve did say, the scales be tipping.
the scales be tipping.
I was so good. Oh
That
man.
was
It's just
good. The that was the name of the episode too. Which I thought was silly to have that be the name of the episode. The fact that it wasn't said by anyone on Yellow, but at the same time,
I'm okay with it for
does
one.
it does
Give Genevieve something.
yeah, no, it does, but
She wasn't on the show for the first three
it does
weeks.
encompass what happened with Yellow. The scales did tip.
Yeah.
Uh,
The scales tipped everywhere. I mean, I will say about Genevieve, the first three episodes, the damn chickens got more screen time, and they weren't even on the show the first three episodes.
that's so
Uh,
true.
but that can we segue that into our little negotiation.
Hmm.
What did you think about that?
Off like
Oh my,
Jeff is getting too soft. That was ridiculous. I understand the negotiation, but how do you allow them 18 eggs for three chickens who could only hatch three eggs in 3 days? I think the absolute max that should have been allowed was like maybe
12.
10. Yeah, like 12 maybe at the max, and that's really generous
Well,
too. I think they should have just given the second place uh reward, which was just 6 eggs. Like I honestly think that would have been fair. Like you won the chickens, keep the damn chickens.
yeah. I
So I don't
mean,
know.
it was so interesting because I get where you're coming from and I agree with you a lot. Even looking at someone did the math of the calories. Even with them getting 18 eggs, the three chickens are so many more calories than the 18 eggs. And
They just
frankly,
didn't want to kill it.
it's such an interesting dynamic. And frankly, eh, for anybody who goes on Survivor in the future, unless your tribe, I think, has explicitly talked about like that you would all be on board to kill the chicken immediately, don't do it. You do not want the chickens. They are more of a headache than they're worth. Take the eggs, go home, be happy. And also, they got 18 eggs. One, you're not eating 18 eggs amongst the five of you immediately when you get back to camp. That's just not happening. You have to know you're merging at some point, and when you do merge, you can't be like, well, these are eggs just for us. You have to share them with everybody at this point, and you're now getting even less food. So even though you're like, oh, you're giving them 18 and that is a lot, like, and it is, I think it's a bit too much. They're now going to be on a tribe of 13 people.
Yeah. So
No matter how you split this up, maybe someone's getting an egg, maybe one, maybe two.
no, I think they're only going to eat it between the yellow people, and I think
You
everyone
can't
else will
do
be fine with it.
I don't really, I don't think so. I think when you were
I would
at
be
the
I
merge,
they earned it. I would
yes,
absolutely be fine
but
with that.
I would honestly though, I'm at a point of like we're at the merge. Every reward is shared amongst everybody at this point. I would and frankly,
No, no, no.
some of these people, rationally or irrationally, are going to be so hungry, especially if we do this thing where half the people don't get a fucking merge feast again.
Hmm.
You know, I could see. How do you think Sue's gonna feel? Say Sue doesn't get the merge feast. Watching the God of Five or the God of Four now that you don't have Annika having eggs because they didn't even get to they can't even do anything because they were idiots and didn't make a fire before the last challenge and being like, yeah, we've got 18 eggs, which is very clearly enough for everybody. Yeah, so we're not going to share with you. We're just going to keep these amongst us who earned them. You didn't earn them. Rationally or irrationally, it's going to be at this point they're merging on day 11. Say it's day 12, 13. You've gone nearly 2 weeks with like almost no food. I think you're asking for trouble. You either share with everybody or you're asking for trouble. And that's how
I do think they will share,
and then
but
they get nothing. Then they get like
no, but they're
nothing.
not going to share evenly.
If you share even like some how
I think they all get three, and then they let the others split half of an egg or something,
that's gonna go
or they
like
all get
half of an egg
two.
is like half of
Or
an
they all get two and they give everybody one egg or something like that. I
that
do
I
think
don't
that
know.
they will share, but they earned that reward. They didn't get a chance to eat it. I don't think the other tribes are going to matter that are going to care.
I don't know. I just think it's another little thing
Yeah,
that can be used against them. And frankly,
it could
with
be.
this
You're right.
shorter game where they're focused more on like how they're depriving the players, I think it could matter. It
Anything can
it
happen
could.
with this cast. You never know.
It really could. And I'll say when they offered 24, Jeff should have gone down to like six. Been like, you know what? Like start out really low and make them get somewhere more in the middle.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Like that. I
But
don't know. Jeff's
he,
getting soft.
yeah, I will say though, I think he's smart enough to know even if we give you 18 eggs, are they really worth more than the chickens? They're not. They're clearly not.
Right.
Oh,
So
I
but
just
what we were talking about earlier with the whole Rome telling people, telling like Sol and Genevieve different things, and then Genevieve and Sol talking. Um, so he Rome says that Teeny has the amulet, and
oh,
explains that Genevieve doesn't want to work with him. So that definitely shocked Saul. And
yeah,
that made him realize, oh shoot, I really don't know anything. This made the bond between him and Teeny strained, the bond between him and Genevieve strained. So that red tribe is right now
a mess.
absolute mess, and it's going to be them going at each other at the merge, and it's going to be interesting. I think it might be even kind of beneficial for at least the first vote or two for Yellow to work together, even though Rachel was just blindsided. But or unless an opportunity arises where Rachel could take a shot at Sam or Sierra. But I do think it's going to be harder to target Andy in the next few votes, or I'm hoping at least. So I think that Rachel might not try to target Andy anymore and try to, if she's trying to get revenge, get it on
Yeah.
Sam and Sierra. But yeah, Rome tries to convince Genevieve to vote Teeny out next. And Genevieve's like, you're being way too chaotic. Like this, we're not even at tribal yet. We haven't even lost the immunity challenge, and you're already talking strategy about the
Oh
next
my
vote.
God.
Because you're so close to the merge. If you guys win immunity, you're probably making the merge. There's no need to unnecessarily target people on your tribe when you're about to go to the merge. I totally understand that. I feel Genevieve's pain and trying to work with Rome with this right now, but at the same time, you got to be on 24/7. I mean, Rome doesn't trust Teeny anymore anyway, so what is the big deal about trying to prepare for the next tribal council? Um, and this also could help out, maybe get Saul to want to, in one way or another, work with Rome going into the merge, saying that I would rather work with you than Teeny. That
Oh, that would
could
be something. If
that
they
could be
actually work
interesting. I
together,
mean, we know that's probably not going to happen based on scenes from the next episode. It obviously shows that Rome and Saul are going to be going after each other, which is why I'm
more
so
than like,
certain that neither one of them are going next. Um, but
yeah, but it's just,
or at least
yeah,
Saul is not going to be
Saul's not going home, I
the
don't think.
final 13. No
But
way.
I'm so curious to see how their relationship does develop, especially um if they make it a little farther. Do they maybe try to work together out of necessity?
I think so, maybe.
Oh, that
I
is
think
so
it
good.
could totally happen. I think they're good enough game players where they should be able to come together for one vote, but not to like start. Not, I don't think to work on a vote together. I like to like try to push a certain name together. I think it'll be more so they'll vote with each other, if it's both beneficial to their game. Also, the whole Genevieve Soul, like Soul saying like, "Oh, you got me, you got me." It's like, what do you mean? It's like, I heard that you don't want to take me very far in this game. It's like, and but
Oh
what's
man,
also, I
this
feel like she definitely said, "No, that's not true. That I did not say that." But we didn't see that on the episode. All we saw on the episode was her saying, "That's not what Rome just told me."
oh man,
Rome
this
told me that you were pitching Teeny's name,
this
and he was like, "No, I wasn't." It was like, "Damn, Rome is playing all of us. We should get Rome out."
oh my God.
So now it's going crazy. Like first Saul's name is thrown out, then Teeny's name is thrown out. Last round, Genevieve's
Group.
name was thrown out. Rome's back to being thrown out. Definitely
This
a
group.
mess.
This
It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the merge.
this tribe, and I'm wearing their buff, maybe one of my favorite tribes, favorite pre-merge tribes ever. I love this group. They're so messy. They are so chaotic. They all want to play the game so hard, and I will say, so all the level, I don't think many of them are very good at it. Genevieve and Tina are the only ones I think that I could even say are at least decently good at it. and even they both are having moments where you're like,
I think
ooh,
Saul is good.
I think. Listen, I give Saul credit for not punching Roman in the face. Don't get me wrong. Do I think Saul has overall so far been a good game player? I won't say good. I think he's been okay.
I don't think he's been like based on his position a great game player, but I think that if Rome was not on that tribe, he would
Yeah.
probably be in the majority of this
Okay.
tribe.
Yeah, sure. But if some butts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. We're not there. This tribe isn't having a Merry Christmas. This tribe is having like hell on earth, and it's great. But let me ask you. I think
Also,
we've
if
talked
also if Rome didn't get the advantages, then he would have been in the majority as well. So it's not that
probably.
he's a bad game player, it's that he has gotten an unlucky draw in his tribe.
Nah, I'm sorry. You make a little bit unlucky, but I also think you make your own bed,
No,
and I think
in no other situation is someone going to align with Rome just because they want to work with him.
I don't know. I
I
don't.
I
No,
mean
because I think
every
Genevieve.
single confessional showed that it was because he had the advantages. So much so
Well,
that
it
they
it
wanted to
definitely
target him the next round
it
once he
definitely
didn't have an
didn't
item.
hurt, but I think especially for Genevieve. Genevieve is not somebody, she's not very like conflict averse. Like maybe like her own personality she is, but she is like, okay, Rome is my meat shield.
Yeah.
If maybe on I don't say normal season, but another season where everyone's like, oh God, Rome is like literally the social pariah and nobody wants anything to do with him. Genevieve doesn't care. Genevieve is like, ooh, scary thing. Let me go out.
Ooh,
Let me
scary thing.
like let me try it. Let me touch the hot stove. Oh, I didn't get burned here. This can work. Genevieve's gonna take chances, and I think that's what makes her a really great player. And I also think might hurt her at some point.
Yeah,
But
I could see her being targeted because of Rome, and I could see her winning the game.
yeah,
I feel like
oh, that would be
I feel
so
like if
good.
she can get to jury phase
If
and or if she can last longer than Rome, I think she makes an extremely deep run, final six minimum, I feel like.
yeah, and
Yeah.
oh, that would be so good. And then, although if we get another invisible Canadian winner, I'm gonna lose my mind.
No, she'll be more visible. She was
I
just
mean,
she didn't have much to she wasn't a part of the drama in the first few episodes. I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
might be
yes,
why.
I'm aware, but she wasn't on the show. She went to Tribal episode 3 and wasn't on the damn show. How do you work? How?
Yeah,
Like,
no, yeah.
listen. This editing is I think has overall been pretty good. How does Genevieve went to tribal, and I don't think got a confessional that episode. Annika went home and got one. Come on! But even so, even with that, I think we've talked about this whole episode in whatever crazy order we had. Dare I say, of the new era, this is the best pre-merge we've had.
Yep.
This is 45 I think is up there as well. But damn, this group is so messy. I'll be honest. I didn't like the premiere. I thought the premiere was edited very poorly. So I was happy Andy didn't
It
go
was all
home,
right, yeah.
but it just made no sense. We were doing too much like fun and games of go find the stupid thing. But once like literally episode 2 on, this season has just been going off in the best way. We've got like we literally start the season with like the meltdown. People are starting to like not get along. So much conflict. Everybody's going to tribal. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it
Like
definitely is.
everyone's bringing every literally. I don't think maybe I'm missing somebody, but can you point to somebody in this group who just isn't bringing anything to the table? And you're like, I want them to go just because they're useless. Like everybody's
Yeah,
bringing something where I'm like, all right, if we lose them, there is a downside.
right,
And
right.
I'm so happy to be in that place where I'm not begging for somebody to go home because they're invisible,
Yeah. I
a
was
la
begging for
Angela Ghost
Annika to go
Island.
home, so I'm glad that happened.
You're what?
I was begging for Annika to go home, so I'm glad that happened.
I
I was not an Annika
I
fan.
almost thought you were saying Veronica, and I'm like, who
Oh.
have you? I'm like, is that Genevieve? Is that Genevieve's alter ego? Because we didn't get any of her either.
This is probably one of the best sounds in the world here right now. Love it. The
There
opening
was there was no sound that came out.
no sound, you couldn't hear it.
Nothing at all. That was so pathetic.
You couldn't hear it. Oh,
I
damn.
swear to God. I want I was a
That
I
sucks.
should have just gone into my
If you
Jeff
guys can't
move.
hear it, that's
I
unfortunate, but it was a
I should
great
have just
sound. Cheers.
I and you didn't give me a heads up to get one myself, but thanks Steven, but let's
No
just
problem, no
say
problem.
in my Jeff way. Steven once again failing miserably. Oh
Like,
man.
don't listen to Jeff. Don't listen to Jeff. That was
No,
funny how like for
uh,
Yellow, when
oh my God.
they were Jeff was talking about how bad they were, and then they were getting
Don't listen to it.
yeah,
That's the only time you
don't
have
listen to him. Keep going.
uh oh my
Uh Andy using the non-blade side.
God. I
That was
can't.
so bad.
Oh, that was so bad. And let's just say I have seen a number of GIFs and edits
But
when they did the wide shot, and I'm just like, oh, Andy. Oh, Andy.
oh God, so funny.
Okay,
That's gonna be a great GIF for sure. For sure.
oh, Andy.
And then they
Listen. I
almost
love
lost
Andy.
because of Soul too. Soul tripped and
Oh
almost
my
lost it
God.
for red.
But let me go back to Andy for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, listen. I mean, he's probably gonna be able to go back to his life and be fine and all that. But like, if I'm Andy and I go and he goes like to apply for a job, the two things I'm desperately worried about them seeing, it's like already, it's like okay, I suck at a challenge, whatever. The the meltdown at the beginning, which obviously not his fault, shit happens, but just to somebody,
I
if
think the
some
meltdown
random
is worse
employer, so
than the gift.
if some random employer goes off and just like looks up Andy's name, like oh he was on this show, that's cute. What happened? Oh yeah, they see this and then they see a GIF of him basically trying to what looks like hump a giant rope. Uh, uh, that's gonna be questions I would not want to be answering in an interview. Let me tell you that. Of what? He's like,
Yeah,
no,
I
no.
feel yeah. But yeah, but
Yeah,
that
but he's
whole
got such
thing.
a sense of humor that I'm sure he would be able to he's handling
Oh,
it well, better than
100%.
most. But
100%.
man, oh man,
But yeah, the non-blade side, the whole debacle cost them the challenge. They could have been safe. It was literally like 2 or 3 seconds different, and that could have made all the difference. And that definitely would make sense why he would go home in this situation. But at the same time,
oh
that's more of
man,
a early on pre-merge type situation.
yeah,
Now you
yes,
want loyalty. Now you're thinking, who do I want to enter the merge with? And that's why we have it not really affect him too much. Rome was
like
crying when he
oh,
won. That was so great to see. We keep
we got a
seeing
different
him
side of
as
Rome. It
this
was
like
in,
villain and everything, but now we see him crying, super happy that they
yeah,
won. Hadn't
but
eaten much in because they didn't have Flint for the last two tribals.
and he lost that reward,
And
and
he
so
lost
he
that
is just,
reward too.
but let me one thing about Andy real quick. When he's his first question at Tribal, he talks about how like Rachel and Sam did a great job on the reward and yada yada. And he talks about like painting a picture that I'm the one. And he goes, they don't care about how I did in the challenge. And Jeff goes, your tribe cares. And then they start going off on how he doesn't know how to use a blade, and I'm just like, oh God,
Yeah. Also,
Andy.
and going back to the real quick, the 18 eggs, they lost their flint and they didn't make fire before they left for the immunity challenge. Dumb move. So
Steve,
if you don't know if you're
Steven.
gonna win and lose the flint, you need to make a fire so that
No,
there's still
you do,
flame.
even if you don't have the whole like losing your flint risk, how do you not go before every single challenge and make sure there is a fire burning?
Yeah. That's what
How?
I'm talking about. Yeah.
How? Oh my God. And just but oh man, oh man.
Especially when you know
Idiot.
you're about to
St
ask for eggs.
Steven, when you had me on the podcast last season and I was just at a point of being annoyed with everyone's moves and I called everybody idiots left and right. This might be a bigger case of idiocy than everyone's bad move last season. Nobody playing their idols. This is worse. Like, Jesus Christ. How? I know it's day 10. I know you're tired. How do you like, let's not make a fire?
Yeah.
Just,
It's silly. It's silly. I don't
oh
understand it
man.
either. I don't think we'll ever understand, but
No.
it is what it is.
I'll never understand this group of people. Um, but for days I'll just be like I'll look back on the end of the season and just be like, who owned this? Who did this? And have it not make any sense. But actually, I do want to give one more bit of credit to Andy. His voting confessional. I've been
His voting
burying you for the.
confessional.
I wrote down. I've been burying you for the last 10 days. Here's your headstone.
I love it.
Ah,
Such a badass.
ah,
Let's
I
go.
love seeing him come into his own. And I will say, for Annika not having a vote to hold up the piece of parchment that says I don't have a vote and tried to go with something, and that was good. That was
That
good.
was
I was
good
like,
too. That was good.
oh my God, this is just this.
I
This
know
group is
how
awesome.
proud Andy must have been of saying that confessional and then actually surviving the vote. He
Oh
must
my
have been
God.
like, "Oh, this is gonna be sick."
He had to have been looking at and marking down this day on a calendar forever. And I will say this, he got to watch it with 800 other people in a theater in New York City.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, guy was having the time of his life. I can only imagine.
Uh-huh. 100%.
And yeah,
And yeah,
Eh,
but him bringing out his little like just him before tribal council, getting those confessionals of him talking about how he purposefully went to Rachel and Annika and was like, "Hey guys, I know I'm on the bottom. Like I just want to be a part of something. If you have this master plan, please include me. I
uh,
want to be included."
that was
And
another
then
dumb move. Oh man, that was a bad one.
knowing that it was wait, who for who?
Them saying Sam's name
It was
and
not
Sierra being.
it was not that bad of a move,
I
but
don't
like
think it was great. I
it
don't
wa- I
think it.
it wasn't great for at all for sure. I think I wish they showed Andy telling Sam, "Hey, just want to let you know that they just said your name," because that
Yeah, that's not good.
because what's the whole point of the him doing that just for fun? I guess
Exactly.
just to think that to make them think that he's not going to play a shot in the dark, so they
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I don't
we had to
know.
when we got the Great Philippines, we went to the whole back to Philippines with the whole who's the real we, and I'm like, oh God, Jeff Kent all over again. I still remember that travel so vividly where the whole discussion is who's the real we, and we're just hearing that, and I was like, I don't care. We want them to vote somebody out. Let's go already. Enough saying we.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
was like,
but talk back to Andy. He's a boss in the confessionals this episode. Honestly, every episode practically since um the first episode, he is killing it with his confessional strategy. It seems like he has a really good grasp on the game of Survivor.
yeah,
And now he finally is in the we. So
he's in
I'm
a very fractured we. I'll say that much.
yes,
Uh,
but no,
and
he's
he
not.
needs to be aware
It's
of
not
that.
fractured. I'm telling you, it's not fractured. Those
And
three are going to be tight.
I disagree with you completely. I especially for Sierra, who when I feel like when you have a number one ally and you guys can't agree on who to get rid of, especially like when they both felt pretty strongly with who they wanted to keep, that being your first vote where you were not on the same page, whoever relents, I feel like is bound to hold even some little amount of resentment and going to emerge now, dangerous. I just another
Yeah,
little thing that I think Sam
you
needs to
never
watch
know.
out
Yeah.
for. And listen, I get why Sam wanted Annika out. I don't blame him. One, I will say, but not a great move on his part to be in the position where he needs Annika out. But this could be a thing where he almost wins the battle but loses the war because of it. I'm worried about that, but we'll see.
Yeah, and
Let's.
at Tribal, after Annika is voted out,
Oh man,
she not only stands there forever, but
we literally had a minute of silence on the show.
minute of silence, and then when there wasn't silence, we had her ask pretty much questions to everyone, and here are the answers we got. We got Rachel saying she didn't know about the plan.
Yeah.
Sierra
So
says absolutely nothing the entire time.
who owned it? Yeah, she goes, "Who owned this?"
Sam takes the credit for the move, and then
And then
Andy
Andy,
responds saying, "It was three of us. There were three votes."
I love Andy almost being like the one like I want credit.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
did it
like
too.
no, like it's not. It wasn't just Sam. There were three of us.
Let
I
Sam
was
take the
part of it.
credit. Let Sam take the credit. Oh my God. That was another one. I was like, I get it. You want to have your little fun there. You just
This is
got
no.
you.
This is why I think it was super smart for Sierra not to say anything.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
Andy, it was gonna be Andy or Annika, so I'm totally fine with everything that Andy said. I think it was silly for Sam to take the credit. Uh, who cares? Annika's going home. She's not pre-jury. She doesn't need to know that had the
Yes.
it was you.
Here's what I'll
Now
say.
Rachel is gonna
Here's
go
what I'll
say like,
say.
"Oh, this was Sam's move" to everybody.
Here's the thing though. Maybe this is just me being extra paranoid and careful. What's to stop them from doing another Redemption Island or Edge of Extinction or something terrible? Like I don't, as a player in the game, I don't know
I guess
that,
you're right. You never know.
but that and also with every little thing being dissected, I don't need to remind I don't need to remind Rachel in this moment, who already is pissed off. I'm sorry, Sam made the move. Like I'm pointing the finger immediately. Sam made that move. I went along with it because he included me. That's it. Like there is no. I don't want to be the face. No. And also, looking at resume, when has a pre-jury move even mattered? I'm not even gonna say won the game for somebody. Mattered at all at Final Tribal? If you were at Final Tribal and you're making mention of a move you made pre-jury, you're probably losing.
That's a good point. Yeah, it can be
So
mentioned, but it can't be like, what was your biggest move of the season? Oh, I got this person out in pre-jury.
it needs to be a footnote. The pre-jury is a footnote.
It's a footnote. It's
It's
like
how
a
you set
little,
yourself up.
yeah,
Yeah, that's important. But if you're like, my big moves were on day 9, honey, we've been here 2 more weeks. Wake up, let's go.
right. All right, so
So,
let's get into real quick the scenes from the next episode. We got everyone
yes.
dropping their buffs, but they're just dropping their buffs and living on one beach. It does not necessarily mean they're merged. Knowing the new era, it's probably
Uh,
mandatory. I wonder if there's going to be another new Survivor twist that is literally like not that big of a deal.
for
But
those
we'll
for
see.
those listening, I'm done. I'm done.
We don't
I've
need any
got
more mergatory, seriously.
I've got nothing. Why? Every single season, do we need to follow the exact same formula?
Right, exactly.
And like, listen, Survivor is great. The basis of the show is phenomenal. And frankly, I am of the opinion, for the most part, that you don't if you take a great cast and leave them be, for the most part, you have idols, you have like, frankly, I would even keep Shot in the Dark. You don't even need a lot of this other stuff with the play. But you also don't need to do the same twists at the same freaking time every single round. Literally, they know going in, I can only prepare for, all right, 3 tribes almost certainly. We're probably not swapping. We are gonna have these stupid journeys every other round. And at 13, we're going to do Mergatory. Half of us will be split up randomly. We're gonna vote somebody out that's gonna suck. Then we're gonna split into 2 tribes. One person's not gonna make jury, then that one's gonna make jury, and then we start playing the game at 10. We know how this is going. Mix it up. Let them play
Yeah, no, you're
Survivor.
100%. I also am annoyed by the fact that two people don't make jury and get to make it to the one beach. I almost prefer at 12 or at 11 the merge starts. I think having two people
2 is a
all on the
lot.
same beach, not be on the jury, kind of
Yeah.
sucks. So I'm
It
not a big
does.
fan of it.
I would rather that than the other way around of having somebody who didn't even make merge making jury,
Hmm.
which is oddly enough one of my only problems with heroes versus villains because it is perfect. Um, but especially a season like this where the pre-merge has been so good, I want to see these tribes go to another tribal or two, any of them. But
Yeah.
you know,
Um,
we finally didn't get a disaster tribe. We got every tribe going to tribal in the first three
that
votes.
was great. I
This
loved
is
that.
awesome. This was just awesome. I mean, I'm excited to see where this season goes next. And frankly, I'm not even going to buy into a lot of preview of just of course it's merged, they're messy. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm so excited.
we know so we get uh them looks like there's probably an advantage hidden because they were all gathered around somewhere and then they all start running on the beach.
What a surprise. Oh my
So
God, there's a twist. There's some advantage.
I am excited about an advantage though. So I want another advantage put into the game. As of right
I
now, we have
don't.
like no advantages. We
We've
have
got the
two
we've got the three-way
we
amulet.
have two idols through the three-way amulet, and that's it.
That's all I need. We don't need more. Don't mess with this. Let them play Survivor.
I like having at least one advantage that is not an idol. And an amulet is an idol that can be used by multiple people. So
Yeah.
that's
I'm
why
a
I liked seeing the
I
steal a
get
vote. I definitely
I
want the what's it called
yeah.
advantage that Sarah had and didn't get to use, the inheritance advantage. We have never been
Oh,
able to see that actually be used. I think they
the
should bring that
inheritance.
back. Um,
How are how does that remind me how that works again?
if you play it at Tribal Council, um, every single advantage used at that Tribal Council becomes yours.
Nope, nope. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Get rid of it. Nope, stupid.
So if you know an idol is about to be played, you can play this
I
advantage, and
hate
now
this.
you
I
have an
hate
idol.
this. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I love it. I think it's
It
awesome, and I want to see it be played.
and Steven,
But
this is more proof that your ideas are terrible and they should never let you produce Survivor. No,
hey,
we
you
need
said
less.
my idea earlier was really good.
I said you had okay, and the fact that I was shocked you had one good idea should say something.
All right.
It's just like we're doing like listen, I I like to think that I'm one of the bigger super fans of the show who pays attention to an ungodly degree. When I am starting to lose track of who has what and how many votes people have, it's getting ridiculous. I will say I'm glad we're at a point now where I know
Hey,
who has
if
everything.
you're losing track already, like you
No,
got
I'm
to
not
pay
now.
more
Right now,
attention.
I'm not. Right now, I'm not, which is actually a good thing. But like I know in the past, like newer seasons, I'm like, okay, this one has an extra vote. This one doesn't have a vote for five. Like something to me is so cool about everybody having a vote and that being the basis of playing Survivor. And
Mhm.
listen, every now and then having a steal a vote, giving somebody an extra vote, taking away a vote, fine. We're doing it every round now.
The losing a
It's
vote
too
is
much.
definitely getting
It's
annoying.
too much.
No,
Let
it's not
people
too
vote.
it's too much when everyone's losing their vote, but like actually give them a chance to get an advantage. The fact that we had so many people lose their vote and all we have out of it is a steal a vote and an amulet, and the steal a vote's already been used, and the amulet is just stupid. I think it's going to be
Or
interesting to see if it ever does eventually work.
I
But
think it will.
if it doesn't, I don't know. I guess
I
it is an okay twist, because it could
yeah,
be you work together or target
it's
each other.
it's
But
better than the last amulet. I'll give them that. They're
yes,
making
yes,
progress in the right direction. I also will say I'm fine with that advantage here every now and then. I don't think we need to start the merge with an advantage. Frankly, can we do one merge if we do it at 10? Even if I would rather, yeah, like go down to 12 or 11. Just say for a round, you are all merged. Here is a merge feast, and all of you are vulnerable.
yeah.
Like
I also like when everyone gets a merge
play
piece.
the first round like it's normal, because that's always crazy anyway. When you
Yeah.
have everybody vulnerable, like how fun is that? They're all trying to get to know each other. Everybody's on the chopping block. You get to see groups form organically. Sometimes this is where I'm like Survivor, you don't need to like almost get like you have the great cast, get out of the way.
Yeah. And then to end off the scenes from the next episode, we have Kyle telling Soul what a dick. So I think it's definitely talking about Rome and
Probably, yeah.
probably about everything that Rome was doing to Saul.
I was
And then
surprised they
Rome
left that
says,
in the like I'm surprised they didn't even like censor that or anything.
right, right.
I was like,
Um,
oh,
and then Rome wants to feast on Saul's bones. Love this.
it seems
I don't think Rome or Saul are gonna go home because of this, but I am going to enjoy Rome staying as that villain he is,
oh
into
man.
the Mergatory probably,
Oh man.
and we'll see how that all goes. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to know who is one person that has a 0% chance of winning this game, and who is someone who is your winner pick? And
You
who do you think is the biggest threat to win right now?
You have given me the easiest questions I've ever had.
All right, let's see it.
Roma has a 0.0% chance of winning. There was no, and I will say this in front of you, in front of Rome if he's listening. And I will give you an ultimatum, a threat right now, Stephen. If Rome manages to win this game, by hook, by crook, by probes, I don't know how. If he manages to win this game, I am going to run over to wherever you live and personally hand you $100. Not even Venmo. I'm
That's
going
it?
to
$100?
$100 is a lot of money.
Dude,
And my,
if you're so confident, give me 1,000.
you have I don't think I have $1,000 to give you right now. I'm busy trying to get Yankees World Series tickets.
Okay.
But
Okay, but all
but
right, you got Roma zero.
$100 and actually, you know what? Here's what I'll say.
No, you said $100. It's
No,
done deal. Rome, you better win.
I'm trying to add to it. I'm trying to make this worse.
Okay, okay.
Is there I don't know where you are. Is there a Waffle House near you or some like 24-hour diner?
Probably.
Great. If Rome manages to win this game, uh, I am taking you to a 24-hour diner and
For
letting you
24
feed.
hours. Let me just order for
I
24 hours straight.
go for yep. I think that's fair.
Okay.
That's my threat.
Ordering
There's
a
the
thousand
ultimatum
dollars
threat.
worth of food.
Yeah, you better hope Rome wins this game, and I love that I'm doing this and getting nothing out of it.
I love it
Um,
too. Thank you,
but
Rome. Please win this game. That would be fantastic.
Rome. All right, and here's what I'll say: Rome, if you win this game, you are invited, and maybe you can help me pay for this a little bit with your million.
That would be great. All
Oh
right.
my
So
God,
who is your winner
it.
pick? And
Oh,
then
it's Genevieve. Genevieve.
Genevieve. Okay.
I
Perfect.
had Sam at the beginning. I mean, I almost. What's funny? Preseason, I almost went TK. Then I saw TK immediately go on a journey. I'm like, nope. We're not doing this. Tornado's right there.
And
I was like,
then if
Sam seems cool. And now I think, as I think I've talked about for the last near 2 hours, I think Sam has put a big target on his back. So I believe in my favorite Canadian Waldo looking lawyer, Genevieve, who, let me just say, is the most self-aware queen ever, wearing all purple last night, being the purple princess. Our purple princess is winning this game.
okay, and then let's say at final 13, there's just a final 13 and you are the sole juror. Who are you voting for right now?
Genevieve, it's the same scenario. That move to get rid of that move on Keyshawn is phenomenal. And the way she orchestrated it, like I think you've seen it at this point, but for anyone who hasn't, there's this like church meme that's been going around where you have people in these pews and Genevieve, everybody thinks they're going after each other. Like Rome thinks he's going after Saul, and then Keyshawn thinks he's going after Rome, and up in the top it with the sniper looking down at everybody is Genevieve.
Yeah.
And it felt just so fitting with the way Genevieve played that so masterfully
Yeah,
that yeah,
she
I think
she did play it really well. All right,
but
so let me tell
I
you
gotta give
my
Teeny a shout out
score.
as well. Teeny I think could very well
Hmm.
impress as well, and I'll say Andy is a little dark horse. You never
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
How about you?
So I do want to preface that before the season started, I had four people, two girls, two guys that I felt the most confident in terms of who I thought would be. I didn't do much research prior to the season, but the two guys,
Failure,
two
Steven.
girls who were like my winner pick crew, and I chose one guy winner pick, one girl winner pick,
Okay,
and then chose an official winner pick.
all right, let's hear him.
My number two guy was Gabe. My number two girl was Caroline. My number one guy was Andy. My number one girl, Sierra. My official winner pick, who I have had from the beginning and never had any true reason to switch unless it blows up so big in my face one episode that I have to change it because they are now a 0% chance. I'm always gonna stay sticking with Sierra as my winner pick. I think
All right.
she is so good at creating great relationships with everybody. and I do think Sam will be targeted before her.
Oh
Once
yeah.
Sam's gone, I think Sierra, it opens the game up for her a lot. And I could see her as someone who uh can maybe be a little more once Sam's gone under the radar until late in the game and still have good enough relationships late in the game to make those big moves prior to Final Tribal that could get her the win. So I'm gonna stick with Sierra as my winner pick. My
I don't hate it.
can't
I
win. You don't hate it?
I actually don't. I think the other people you picked in that scenario, I was like, all right, you got you got to the right conclusion in a very wrong way, but you got there. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't hate the Sierra pick at all.
Um, and so far, all the four people that I've chosen are in the game, still going into Final 13, and maybe they're not in the prime spot, but they're in decent positions, or at least playing a decent game. So Andy's in a decent position right now. Uh,
Andy's crawled out.
Caroline's in a great position right
I
now.
think Caroline's in a very good position. I think
And
Gabe is not in a good one, and I don't think Andy is
I
in
don't
a
think Gabe
great
is in a
one.
great position, but I do think he has been playing a good game. I just think Tiana spreading that about Gabe could possibly be bad for him. I also think that his edit is not a winner's edit, but it's a I'm a good game player edit. So I could see him not winning the game, but I could see him being a threat down the line if he's not targeted early in this Mergatory. Um, so
Let's see.
yeah, so Sierra's my winner pick. My can't win is obviously Rome,
How dare you?
but I don't want to say Rome
How dare
because you
you?
already said Rome. So let me think of someone else. Um,
Okay.
I
Yeah, give me
think
somebody else because then you owe me something if they win.
um, I'm thinking.
Come on, yeah, you're so good.
Let's see. I don't want to rule anyone out from red.
Okay.
Um, from Kyle's not winning.
Okay.
I don't think Kyle can win. I can see Kyle being this lovable guy who
You're
makes it kind of far, but I
you're
just don't see
saying
him
you're
being
saying
strategic enough to win the game.
you're saying Ian Rosenberger 2.0 can't win?
I wouldn't call him that,
Look
but
at him. Look at him.
he is he looks exactly like him.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not taking
So
the
yeah, in terms
personality,
of how
but
he
the
looks, yes. But
I
I
don't think I
just
don't think he'll quit on the final immunity challenge though.
yeah, right, exactly.
Although he is such a sweetheart.
I
I
don't
mean,
see him winning. I could see him doing well though. But not winning.
it's a
And
wide
my
open game, man.
threat that I would say is like a big threat right now to win the game if Final Tribal is coming up very soon, um, is Sam, I would put.
Yeah,
Sam and Sue, I would say. I think Sue is in a great position and has been playing kind of the middle in a way, but also not like she's not really aligned with um Kyle, but she was able to get the vote to not be on her when she was getting targeted in the first tribal council. She has a number one alliance with Caroline, a number one alliance with Gabe. Tiana does trusts her.
hmm
So right now she's in a great spot in the game, and I think she's going to do great at the merge. Um, and
yes,
Sam is everyone thinks he's running his tribe, and he is running his tribe. He
yeah,
is the one who wanted John out to keep uh Andy in for challenges, and the fact that John is a was being too strategic too early on for someone who was on the bottom. Um, and then he is the one who convinced Sierra to keep Andy and take out Annika. So his resume pre-jury right now is fantastic. So I think Sam and Sue, the biggest threats. If I had to pick one, I would go with Sam. But unfortunately, I
interesting.
don't think that's going to
Yeah,
be good for him in the long run.
yeah.
So yeah.
I I will say I might actually say for bigger threat, I actually might go Teeny over Genevieve.
Okay.
And I'm really interested and I think that if Genevieve can get that everyone to perceive that, then I think Genevieve can really slip under the radar. and strike. And
Yeah.
a comparison I've thought of, if Genevieve somehow wins, maybe she's a little like Kim Spradlin. I'm not gonna say as good as Kim Spradlin because playing a game like that is Kim Spradlin played one of the better games of all time. But I could see that maybe Teeny is Sabrina who gets to the end or at least gets close to the end
Yeah.
and is the like only other bigger threat that could take out Genevieve. So we'll see. I'm just really excited to see how this post merge goes. The
So am
season
I.
has gotten better and better and better each week. Although I think maybe episode 4 is slightly better than this, but we are on an upward trajectory. This cast is phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me. I could talk about this show, this
Of
episode for
course.
days.
Yeah. Thank you
So
so much for hopping on to recap the last episode of the pre-mergatory. Um,
pre-merged. God, he can't even say that with a straight face.
right? No, seriously.
Oh
Thank you
man.
so much. It's been so much fun talking with you about Survivor,
Always
and
is
I
with you, my
can't
friend.
wait to recap episode 6 next week. Hopefully we'll have Pat. If not, we'll definitely have a great guest host for you guys next week.
Yeah. Hope to hope I get another spicy episode to talk about in the post merge.
For sure. Yeah,
But
we'll definitely
what's
have
gonna
you
top
back
this? I
on,
don't
Alex.
know. I don't know what could top this though.
Yeah.
What could
This was a
top
great episode.
the Annika just going, did you know?
Yeah,
Did you know?
100%.
I'm just gonna start asking people that in real life. Like, did you know?
Well, thank you so much, Alex. And thank you, all the viewers and listeners, for watching. And we will see you back here next week for episode 6 to check out this Mergatory or whatever Jeff has in store for us.
I've already has in store. See ya.
All right, see you guys.